Hey guys, welcome to the HOLTS 2021 September sale. We're going to be looking at over and unders in this video, and we're going to kick it off with this. This is lot 1611. This is a Beretta SO4. An SO4 is not that wildly exciting as guns go, but this one is. This one has been re-sleeved, had new tubes put in it to 36 inches overall length. And people say, why do you need 36-inch barrels? Well, the answer is because I'm quite tall, and you see all these 5'6" blokes shooting 32s and maybe even 34s, and I don't get it. But that's because I can move a 32-inch gun pretty fast. Suddenly, this gives me that feeling of having a 32-inch barrel for a smaller fella. This was actually in about 3 auctions ago, so I presume somebody is reselling it. Maybe they realised that at 5'7", 36-inch was too far. It obviously is nose heavy. It's a 36-inch gun. But by the time it had a bit of length on the back and it was for me, I'd realised it's 4 to 6 grand. The fact is, a 36-inch barrel custom job would probably cost somebody in the ballpark of, let's say, 3 grand on top. So it's pretty good value rather than buying an SO4 and doing it yourself. It's clearly been rejointed at the same time. The gun is nice and tight, locks up well. No, it's been rejointed properly, which is quite nice. And I understand you could just put 32-inch heavy barrels on a gun. But it just appeals. As a tool guy, it definitely appeals. That's 1611. The Beretta SO, as you all know, is one of my favourites, actually, of all the guns, and this is probably one of the finest ones here. This is an SO6 Sporting, 29.5-inch gun, and it's stunning. This particular one is 1990, so an exceptional vintage, and by the look of it, is in almost new condition. It is beautiful, beautifully made, as they are and were built. Engraving wise is what really turns me on about this. It's a beautiful, beautiful mixture of Bellino game scene mixed with not entirely fine scroll, but beautifully executed scroll. You have on the bottom, look at that woodcock. It's just bang-a-rang, look at it. And on there, you've got a pair of English partridge as well. Signed underneath, signed somewhere, Arici. It's just as good as they get in terms of Berettas. And yeah, I mean, they do make better than this, but not much. 5 to 7 grand. That is a gun that will do you the rest of your life in all circles. Clays, game, all over the shop. It's not too heavy that you couldn't go and shoot walked up with it. I mean, you'd have to be fairly strong, fairly fit, but that's by the by. It's a lovely gun. Has stood the test of time very, very well. Very well indeed. That's a good purchase. I say you paid the top dollar for that, you're still in for less than 10 grand for a hand-built, hand-engraved gun that, if you bought today, would be, what, 60 odd? And stock spec's pretty good as well. Must be, what, about 15 inch, just over 15 inch? Very pretty, nice, high, good, modern. Round the fore end off, you'd be on the money for a dreamy, dreamy gun. And I know 10 grand's a lot of money, but it's not a great deal of money when you said that would last you the rest of your life for a top-end gun. And this is why you love HOLTS. This is why I love HOLTS. 1657. That's a nice gun. There's a DT11 there, or DT10. They've got some absolute mint machines in. There's 1618 DT10 Trident, a 30-inch octabore. Again, I understand that I'm getting older and all the guns that I once wanted as a child are now old-fashioned, but that's still a machine. This gun is extremely tidy. 1618, and it's a very nice, very Beretta piece of wood. Look at that fiddleback. I like that a lot. There's a pair of Mirokus next to it, a pair of Mark 60 Sporters next to it, if you wanted something a little bit more normal. Strange stock. Discoloration around the head, it's a bit weird. 16, 16, and 16, 17, I guess a composed pair. Very nice. So this is lot 1359. This is a Beretta EELL S687, scroll engraved. There's actually one of a pair. You get the pair, I think they're valued at 5 to 7, which is fairly good value to be fair. You don't often see scroll engraved Beretta WWLs. Most people opt for the game scene, which is a shame because this scroll is beautiful. On the bottom, this is quite a cool feature, is it says Beretta Gallery. So I presume that this pair was sold in the Beretta Gallery or one of the Beretta galleries. It's got beautiful woodwork as well. And that's one of the beautiful things, I guess, when you're buying from the Beretta Gallery, is that the guns do have stunning wood. 30-inch guns numbered on every part, on the top rib there, on the fore-end catch, and on the top lever there. It's just a really nice pair of guns. Look at that. That is dreamy, dreamy woodwork. This is a smart little machine, a Merkel side lock. They are a fairly different shape, but what that does allow is for a canvas that lends itself to different engravings. I mean, if you put that engraving on a standard shape of side lock, it wouldn't look half as good, or it just would look out of place. And that is a beautiful, flowing, large, deco-y scroll. Simple, acanthus-y thing. I like it. It's very pleasant all the same. And Alex Martin. An interesting sort of concept, actually. You've got, say, an Italian action fit built for Alex Martin and built to a very high standard as well. It's got a nice long stock, a fairly unexciting but very high contrast piece of wood. It's a very beautiful piece of wood, but there's not too much going on. Hand checkered, hand engraved. You've got a very nice action, some beautiful carving, quite a lot just going on in the metalwork without any engraving. A nice game gun. I presume that trigger is detachable somehow, and that's why that the elongated trigger guard there is actually built as a separate piece. But a nice thing. This is lot 1665. It is a Browning D5G from 1974, 27.5-inch skeet and skeet barrels. In terms of specification, might not be the most exciting by modern standards. Nice bit of drop in the comb there, like it is as a 1970s skeet gun as you could possibly write. The engraving is exceptional. Would you buy this gun for its engraving alone? Yeah, you probably would. You can have new barrels made for a lot less than it would cost to have a gun engraved to this standard. It is beautiful. It's not just fancy guns in the HOLTS main sale or even in the sealed bid. All it needs to be is a really good condition gun to make it into the main sale, like this 687 1601. Let's have a look how much it is. 600 to 800 quid for lot 1601. That is a bargain. A very good condition 687. Everyone knows that the 680 series will last you the rest of your life, and it's quite one of the nice ones there with the setter on the side. Just a nice machine, a fantastic tool. Not life-changing, but not all guns have to be. And if one gun isn't enough for you, they've actually got a pair of 687s here. This is lot 1365. These are £600 to £800 in the auction estimate. That one was mint. These ones are a lot more headachy. They've had a life. The wood's swollen, the wood's changed. The leather cover pad is gone. It's a bit shaky. It's a little bit ropey. Look at that. I know. Sorry, I'm going to lose my train of thought. Look at that. Number 2. They put it actually on the side of the barrel. I quite like that. You have to occasionally look at guns for what they could be, not what they are. And I get accused by my friends often of getting excited over guns because of what you could do to them, not because of what they are out of the box. And that's fine. I also get asked by a lot of people, what is this HOLTS thing all about? It's an auction for everybody. Anybody can bid. Anyone can go and buy one of these guns. It's nice, it's simple. The risk factor is almost zero because these guys will give you a condition report. All you have to do is go to holtsauctioneers.com. That's HOLTS. Go check it out or chuck it into Google. It'll take you there and it'll teach you how to bid either on these or those. You can leave a bid in beforehand, or you can get mad into the auction frenzy. But believe me, it's very easy to get carried away. I like that. These are going to attract a lot of attention because of the price, and I wouldn't be scared of what work they need. It's a 30-inch or 29.5-inch barrel set of multi-choke pair of guns. A pair of guns that would last you for the rest of your life. So this little bad boy is probably one of my gems of the over and under selection. So it's lot 1659, a G Gamba, 1968 built, Verna Specialty Act 67. Italian-made thing. It's not inherently special, and there's a lot of things wrong with it. But just in terms of quality of gun making, most Gambas you'll see are great guns. Like, everything about this is some quality gun making. Attention to detail, beautiful engraving, nicely put together. It comes with spare barrels in a case for £900 estimate. I mean, it's beautiful. Problems, obviously, that there are is that there's an extension on the back of the stock in wood, so that might bother you. The stock spec, though, is pretty intelligent. 14 3/4, not too much cast, nice bit of rib. It's a gun you could shoot. A 27.5 inch, by the way, parallel vented top rib. But the engraving, the way this gun is put together, yeah, I mean, so the deep relief with the fox and birds might not be to your taste, but look at that. Move that out of the way. Look at that. Is that not stunning? The way that it's put together, the way it opens, the way it closes, the selector, everything about this gun is just quality gun making for not a lot of money. They're not horrifically fast. You could shoot it quite happily, and that is important. But a couple of Perazzis, an MX4 and an MX4C, and that slight ramped rib, like, it is a very competitive gun. They're not worth a great deal. What I like quite a lot is, I believe you can, yeah, pull that lever up, and it's like an instantly adjustable trigger. You just kind of pop that up, and you can pull it back and forward and set it into each of these notches. You don't see them nowadays, but I love the concept. It's a sound concept, better than the screw or something, because you can, in a pinch, change it according to what you're wearing and needed. A beautiful old machine. It's got some cast on it though. Woo! It's got some cast on it, but that's not unpleasant. All too often you get a lot of the slightly older Italian guns that have probably more of a trap spec stock than we would prefer. Look at that. 686 Silver Pigeon S, 20 bore with extended chokes. Teagues, no less. Mark 38? Yeah, Mark 38 Sporter. That's a beast of a gun. It's lot 1667. Basically new. Again, it's the Teague Sporter with the Teague chokes in the end there. Flushes, double bead sight. Lot 1667, £700 to £900 is a bargain. It is not special, but compared to some of the guns we've seen and you're gonna see in a second, this is not special. But this is a workhorse gun that you would live would live forever with you. A nice 30-inch barreled Mark 38 Sporter. What a monster! For £700 to £900. I mean, you wouldn't go wrong with that if you spent what they knew now, like £2.5, £3 grand. If you put 1,500 quid on that, you're still in the money. And a 38 with the extended chokes. Again, basically new, 1653. There's an ultralight there as well for those who like pain, ultralight deluxe. We've got my favourite Beretta, one of my favourite Berettas of all time here, and coincidentally one of my least favourite. Invictus 5 High Pheasant Guarini. They're a fantastic gun. It's quite a pale piece of wood for these. I've seen them with much darker generally. Very nice. The Invictuses are, well, this is brand new. This has never been fired. That's 1668. That's never been fired Invictus 5, and they're a solid machine. This is a Central Design and Research Bureau of Hunting and Sporting Arms, aka a Skibzoo MT7-12, or more commonly, a Baikal. It's one of the 3 Russian factories, probably one of the best out there, and it is a beautiful machine. Lovely, if not very plain walnut stock. Beautiful, very fine skip checkering. You've got to appreciate it. It is very well executed. A very Russian piece of engraving, and it's nice. The 3-piece forend with the angle, because anyone can make a flat joint, and that is well executed. 27.5-inch barrel, solid top rib, solid mid rib. It is what it is. A very interesting Russian gun. It's nice. One of my favorite little features, look at this. What a lovely little touch to have that hidden inside your gun. That's 1,500 to 2 grand. It's actually probably quite a realistic price for where this will go for. An MX2000. An MX2000 with a Schnabel forend, or tulip forend. Very parallel comb. Very parallel comb. Interesting spec. 32 inch. That's actually very nice. I dislike the forend style, but that's just me. It's an interesting specification to put together, but it does. Like with all these 32 inch MX2000s, for the most part, when they're actually set up right, that's a really nice bit of kit. Very nice. And then you got its German brother next door, K80 Krieghoff. Very nice. Not overly exciting specification wise, but she's tight and in good order, which is better than some of these you'll find. That's lot 1660. £2,500 to £3,500 1660. Comes in a case, 3-inch Magnum K80. This is one of those guns that the future will love. And the stock spec's not horrific either. It's a nice Monte Carlo. Very pleasant. I think we need a closer look at this one. Some of our viewers newer to shooting might not know what this is. This is a precision fit stock. Before TSK and before all of the popular stuff that's about now, this was it. The precision fit. You had a plastic head, you had a plastic cheek piece and a rubber pad all around this very unexciting aluminium work here. It was the first commercially available one. You could buy these on eBay. They were like 1,000 or 1,200 quid. You could buy separate grips for about 250 each. So you could buy the stock in the knowledge that you could then buy second-hand stock and clip to your gun. I was desperate to buy one. It is a fantastic thing, and it's the father of what we see today for very similar money, if not less. The concept is you can change the length on the adjustable screw here, you can change the height, you can change the cast, you can change just about everything you could ever want. Pad, you can drop it up, down, left, right. This is a Guarini Summit, a 33 3/4 inch 2008 built gun, so one of the first of these Guarini Summits. A very interesting and attractive gun. They are what they are, and for £1,100 to £1,500, it's not bad value, given that you get this with it. Very nice. Here we have lot 1676, a Renato Gamba Daytona. This is probably one of the plainest ones you'll see. This is a very unexciting gun, but I expect the price reflects that. You've got a slight, was that a 10 to 8 tapered rib, adjustable Monte Carlo stock. This is a real no frills gun, except you do have that little bit of gold beading across the top there. I must admit, I do like that. It's a very nice touch. A full detachable trigger, you push this little lever across, and a unit comes out. As you can see, the quality of build is exceptional. Everything about these trigger pulls, a lot of midweight. These guns are fantastic. It's 1676. That's a really nice gun. Commodore Garden Ultra XS 1661. There's a lot of very, very new guns in this sale. 725 G5 Hunter. What a stunning piece of wood that is. That's particularly nice with that well, it's not an inclusion, but that real contrast. It's a very different piece of wood. It looks messy, and a lot of people won't like that, but I think that's stunning. There's so much going on across its entire surface. It's a very beautiful piece of wood, if nothing else. This is, by the way, probably one of my favourite guns here. I've got a lot of favourite over and unders here. There's a great selection. This is a 682 Goldie X-Trap. They are inherently not exciting, but for me it's what they represent that I find very exciting. And you've even got the ability to put a screw in the top there and actually lock your selector in place, which is interesting for an X-Trap. What a beautiful thing. Let me look. Isn't that interesting? I say interesting. I think that's interesting. As always in these situations, I defer to Simon's greater knowledge. That is an aftermarket edition. He's never seen one either. So that is an interesting aftermarket edition. The point that somebody would get to go, yes, I definitely, I need to lock my selector in place, just in case. There really are some wicked over and unders in this sale. This is a Perazzi SC3, a 1978 built one. This gun is in at 2.2 to 2.8. And I'd be lying if I said it hasn't had some sort of life. You know, there's plenty of repairs, there's a slight crack at hand. But for 1978, this is an extremely modern feeling gun. Now you've got a 10mm parallel rib, vented mid, vented top, SC3 grade engraving, detachable trigger unit, which is, I mean, not that wild by any means, but it's just a nice thing. A big, deep pistol grip, probably lacking in palm swell by modern standards. Semi-beaver-tail forend. It's amazing how things go around in circles, and to be honest, things rarely change. 8'4", it's pretty similar to how you would spec a gun today. Balance a little bit bang over the hinge. Bang over the hinge. Weight is in the extremes a little bit, it's just a little bit fussy with its balance point, but come on. Let's say you pay top dollar for that, you're in for $4 grand. Yep, the stock has a minor crack, and you're probably going to sort that out, and over time you end up with gaps and repairs and things, but that doesn't matter. As a user, it's good, it's tight, and it's beautiful. A hand engraved gun. If that stock cracked, it wouldn't bother me, just buy new stock and have it fitted. Like, you go to Mama Ricardo and have a stock made with that for £1,000, you're in for $5 grand for a custom made gun. It's lot 1664, which coincidentally is one of my favourite beers. So, there you go. Must be a reason to buy it. So here you go, here is a pair of guns, lot 1301, Boxall and Edmundson. Boxall and Edmundson is a gun maker that no longer exists. But whilst they did, they made some rather pretty looking guns, I think you'll agree. This is a pair of 20 bores, survived by Fox & Co Bespoke, who essentially carry on their engraving patterns and engrave on other things. They're an interesting pair of guns. One has, I mean, they're book matched wood, but one, as sometimes happens in these instances, has a fantastic piece and the other has a slightly blander set. Non-selective single triggers, very large triggers for a 20 bore, but we're not going to get too anal about it. And the standard Boxall and Edmundson shape. Slightly elongated forend. This is a lovely pair of guns. You have that slight step from the machined rib there down into the flat with the name and number put on it. It's a lovely pair of 20 bores. And for someone who's after something a little bit different, they're certainly a good looking, a little bit different pair of guns. We're going to wrap this over and under video up with two guns by one of my favourite makers, Luciano Boses. We're going to be doing a separate video on this, you've probably already seen it. What we have is a Michelangelo and a Wild Game. This one is up, this is lot 1600 at 4 to 6 grand. It is a beautiful little 28 bore, solid mid and top ribs, lovely, well finished, hand checkered forend and stock with a little rounded Prince of Wales there. It's a very nice thing. A nicely colour hardened action with very tasteful amounts of fine scroll on the sides there. Signed in a nicely hand engraved sign as well. It's very nice, L. Boses. Look at the base there. That pheasant is just lovely. Very nicely done. I think that is a beautiful piece of engraving. You've got lovely bits of scroll, lovely scroll with a single rose in that bouquet. It's just tasteful, and I really like this a lot. This is lot 1650. This is a Michelangelo. This is the Big Daddy. This is a pinless side lock by Luciano Boses. This is just a work of art. This is as good as Italian guns come, in my opinion. It's a little bit English looking and feeling, and I guess that's clearly what we like, but it's just these little features. Look at that. The colour hardening again, the engraving, the way it's put together, the way it opens, the way it closes, everything about it in the hand is just stunning. It's a perfect mixture of practicality and beauty and refinement and modernness, because it's not a lightweight gun. It's the sort of gun you will take out and actually use. I like this a lot. Thank you as always for watching, guys. This is the auction on the 20th and 21st of September 2021. It's a good auction. There's some really beautiful things here, and to be honest, a few more over and unders than usual, hence the separate video. Guys, take care, good luck, good bidding, and don't get too carried away. Or do, just don't blame me.